Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for Angel Hour, the radio show devoted to giving you angel readings. I do see that we have several of you lined up for angel readings on the phone, as well as several reading requests that have been submitted via text message and the Bring Me to Life chat room. But if you would like an angel reading today and you haven't submitted a request or called in yet, then you can call or text the Bring Me to Life team at 240-979-6366. That's 240-979-6366. Or, as I said, you can submit your reading request in the chat room at bringmetolife.com/radio. Just scroll right down and you'll see us at the chat room. You will also have the chance to donate to the Bring Me to Life network today, which I love. Bring Me to Life is a wonderful foundation, a wonderful collective of people who bring together spiritual inspiration, artistry, and all kinds of things that just enrich the community. And they're doing it all for us. So every little donation counts in helping them continue to do the wonderful, wonderful light work that they do in this world. So you can donate by clicking the donate button that you will see at the top of the bringmetolife.com page if you would like to do that. Now, before we begin our readings, as usual, let's come together for a quick centering exercise. I love to do this before our readings so that we can just take a moment to relax, to get calm, and also to turn on the sensitivity that is there inside each and every one of us in terms of being able to feel and connect with the angels. So go ahead and close your eyes, sit back and take a few nice, long and deep healing breaths. And allow your heartbeat to begin to relax into a receptive, healing rhythm. Noticing as you do so that every muscle and joint also begins to relax. Allowing every cell of the body to open, to breathe in and receive. The angels are sending us a beautiful cleansing blue and white healing light. Breathe that light in, feeling the light entering in through every energy center along your spine. Noticing that the deeper you breathe this light, the more peaceful you become, and the more this light permeates your being, such that you can feel and see yourself now glowing from the inside out with this healing blue and white light. With your next deep inhale, gather that light down into your heart. And on your next exhale, notice the light beginning to expand outside of you, creating a beautiful cocoon of peace all around your energy body. Within this cocoon of light, all is safe and all is full of peace. The angels are gently directing this beautiful light to flow down through your fingertips, down through the legs and the feet and the toes, and into Mother Earth. With your next deep inhale, gather that blue light in from above, and gently exhale that light right down into the earth, as if you have the root system of a tree that extends down deep into the mother, where she holds you closely, helping to ground and hold space for this beautiful higher spiritual energy that is now one with you. We're going to take just a moment to hold a healing intention in our hearts now. And you can think your question or your healing intention silently, or even speak it out loud if you prefer. And mentally surrendering that healing intention over to the angels, trusting that through our time together today, you will receive exactly what it is that you need. I'm going to take in just one last deep healing breath, just gathering your presence right back here into the present moment, inhaling. And on the exhale, gently opening the eyes and shifting right back into the room and back into the moment. Beautiful. Thank you so much for connecting in that meditation. It always feels so good to do a little bit of energy work together, because we really do uplift one another when we do that, which is especially important right now in the current energy that we are all in, as many of you may be aware of, which is connected to the full moon. Yesterday we had the full moon lunar eclipse. We are still bathing in the cosmic energy of that, and we've had a very powerful eclipse season wherein we've experienced the energy of a solar eclipse during the last new moon, and now this lunar eclipse, or this recent full moon. And the energy is very, very transformative. It's an energy that is shaking up a lot of things. It is an energy that is greatly revealing, and that it's bringing out any hidden truths that need to be seen for the sake of your empowerment. So I'm so glad that we've all gathered here today together so that we can connect in the purpose of that empowerment and in the purpose of understanding or unpacking that truth together with the help of the angels. So today we're going to be using, I've got two different oracle card decks. I've got the Wisdom of Avalon oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed, and I also have the Energy oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. So I'll just use intuition and see what the angels sort of direct us to do as far as which deck to use. And let's just go ahead and start with our readings. Let's see. Okay, we've got a reading request coming in from Diane. Diane says, I would like a reading on my current living situation and relationship. Lease will be up in October, and I'm unsure of which direction to move in. Thank you, and thank you for the full moon reading. It spoke to my heart very deeply. Diane, I'm so glad that you enjoyed the full moon reading. It really was, again, a message that needed to be relayed, because we've got such a powerful, changing, sensitive energy coming in. So let's go ahead and tune into your angels now. First of all, I'm going to see who's around you. Okay, you've got two angels who are really strongly taking the lead for you at this time. You've got Archangel Michael, who is shrouding you in protection at this time. He says that he knows that the energies around you have at times felt a bit harsh or intense with regard to your relationship, living environment, and that kind of thing. And he says that he's looking out for your highest interests. You also have Archangel Chamuel. Chamuel is the angel of the heart, of emotions, and also is the angel of higher perspective. Helps us to see from the highest perspective available, which is very useful when it comes to clearing away blockages so that love can come through. So Chamuel is here guiding you in your intimate relationship and your closest relationships in life, helping to direct you to the support systems that will help you the most. Now, right away, I just want to relay a message from Chamuel before I even turn over the cards. Right away, he's telling us that in your life, we have a pattern going on in terms of relationships, and that no matter what happens in your current relationship, this old pattern, we're saying goodbye to it. It is going to be gone. They're showing us that one of the hallmarks of this old pattern is what feels to be a kind of an imbalance between giving and receiving. A situation wherein it looked as if, in the past you'd been, kind of sort of akin to giving a little more than you had receiving. So it's time for that to change, because the angels are showing us that balance and harmony are now very, very important pieces of helping you to be on your highest spiritual path in terms of, fulfilling your divine life's purpose, and also for being in your highest health. They're showing us that this relationship that you've been in has even sometimes caused very subtly some imbalances around health. And this is simply because, again, sometimes you've been carrying more than your fair share of the load of energy. You've been processing energy for your partner. And, we do that to an extent with the people that are around us. That's quite normal with really close, intimate relationships, for us to kind of share and process things together. But you still need to make sure that the relationship is balanced to the extent that this partner, that this loved one, is willing to carry their fair share of the baggage, that sometimes they pick up the slack, that they're willing to take ownership and responsibility of their feelings or of their shadow, their hidden things, and to work on those things. So this change right now in your life is all about that. It's all about us moving forward to a place in your life where there is greater balance. That balance is going to be based on you and those closest to you being incredibly honest and authentic with your real feelings. Because there's a big message coming through around that Chamuel would like to simply add here. Chamuel is telling us that when we don't acknowledge our feelings all the way, and you, Diane, actually, you feel good at acknowledging your feelings. You feel fairly good at, kind of keeping on top of that and being in touch with that. Sure, all of us have some sneaky little feelings that can be under the surface that might, come up at moments that surprise us. But it's a little bit more so I'm seeing on your partner's end of the relationship, where we've got a sense that, there's something that isn't being seen fully or acknowledged fully that really needs to be seen and acknowledged fully in terms of feelings. So when we don't acknowledge those feelings all the way, they end up controlling us. They end up being something that sort of like pulling puppet strings from behind the strings or behind the scenes, end up kind of influencing our behaviors, our patterns, and the things that we feel that we need or desire or crave or lean towards, and that kind of thing. So there are feelings that want to be addressed in this relationship, and you can do this through communication together. So let's go ahead and turn over the cards now. I've pulled 2 cards from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle cards, 1 card from the Energy Oracle cards, and let's see what we get here. So, okay, your first card right away, this is amazing, is the Communication card. So the angels just got done saying it. Communication is needed, because this decision is, especially as far as where to go in terms of your living situation, this is something that you need to work through with your partner. This is absolutely something that you're not being asked to address alone, because the greatest spiritual lessons happen through the communication, through collaborating, through learning all there is to know about the other person's perspective and weighing in with your perspective, and then really looking very honestly, square in the face, what the truth is, where the compatibility lies. Are there mutual needs that can be fulfilled as we, perhaps plan on moving in the step in a new direction with regard to moving. The angels are also giving us another card here from the Wisdom of Avalon deck, and it's the Wealth card. Wealth. That's a really good sign. This is a card that represents that you are being financially supported through your current situation. So this is a card that's telling us definitely don't be worrying with regard to financial stuff. Know that you're very free in terms of being able to attract a situation that will be clearly and easily supported in terms of financial abundance. And also they're saying emotional abundance as well. They're showing us that in this relationship, in this partnership, and the potential to have a living, cohabitating partnership, there is a wealth of opportunity. There's a wealth of opportunity to create commitment and to create harmonious collaboration in this partnership, but you've got to work on it first. And you've got to demand that you see those healthy things coming through in this relationship, and those to be proven with actions and not just promised with words. So you have to go through these steps first. You got to do the work kind of thing. Now, the final card that we have coming in from the Energy Oracle cards is a card that says community. Community. So when we see this, this is a card that represents unity, the idea of coming together. This shows us that there is a high potential for togetherness with regard to your relationship, and also togetherness with regard to your living situation, something very positive that could potentially come through with this. Again, you've got to do the work first. You've got to demand that your partner do the work first as well and really come to an agreement. And if that's not there, then you'll have to make a choice accordingly. But right now we're seeing at the highest likelihood of the direction of all of this is a sense that there is unity, there is togetherness, and there's also a sense that you can rely on your loved ones, on friends, family members, the community around you to help direct you, guide you, and hold you. So any opportunities that you see with regard to your living situation, or even advice coming in that's, is connected to your living situation or your relationship, you can kind of trust what you're being given, because the angels want you to know that you're being supported right now by more than just, the relationship, the close relationship that you have. That's not your only resource of emotional fulfillment and support. You've got other resources too, and your friends, your family members, the people that are ready to be around you to support you, because sometimes it really does take a village, doesn't it? So lean on all of the support that you have, lean on the amazing tools of communication that you have, and put your left foot in front of your right foot, my dear, because we've got a powerful path with, some hard work ahead, certainly, as far as figuring out some details in this relationship, but it's a decision that you're coming to in togetherness that you don't have to figure out alone. And that's the most important takeaway. So thank you, Diane, so much for submitting your request today. So let's go ahead and see. We've got several others who have sent in their requests. Let's go ahead to Aaron's reading. Aaron says, I need to find a way to remove some blocks that I'm having. I have faith that a reading could provide some insights or point me in the right direction. Thank you, Aaron. I'm so glad that you've got faith in your angels, because they are very close with you. I can see that right away. Right away, one of the angels that I'm seeing around you really closely, Aaron, is Archangel Jophiel. Now, Archangel Jophiel is the angel of beauty. And I oftentimes see Jophiel guiding people who have a strong creative calling in the world. Maybe that creative calling has to do with a career in the arts, in some prospect, or in self-expression in some way, or in helping others to feel beautiful in some way. Or maybe that's even just a hobby, but there's some kind of life purpose-oriented thing that involves your creativity right now that is coming to the surface really strong. The angels are also showing an image of your throat chakra. They're showing us that your throat chakra needs liberating. It needs to be given the message that it is safe for you to express your truth, to put yourself fully out there, and that also it is safe for you to be vulnerable in expressing your truth. Because whether you're expressing your truth as the artist does, or as, just any person in any intimate, close relationship would do, either way, there's a sense that we feel very exposed and naked when we do this, doesn't it? But this is also the path to intimacy. It's also the path to success for you, and a path to feeling more supported in this world, to feeling safer in this world, to be able to show your true naked self to the world in some way, and for then you to have the opportunity for the world to accept all of you, or for a loved one to accept all of you as they see who you are in this truth, is so liberating. It is exactly the healing that your soul has been asking for some time, it looks like. Now, there's another little thing that they want to show us with this. So there's a few different things. They're showing us that there's a pattern that's looking to release right now in your life. they're showing us that this pattern is one in which in the past there had been a bit of a cycle in which you had found yourself potentially, running away from things, whether it's running away from an opportunity. We can all do this kind of stuff sometimes. Maybe it's procrastinating or self-sabotaging on some little idea or opportunity that we have, not following through on something, or maybe even walking away from a relationship where there might have been an opportunity to learn, something like that. We do these things because there is fear and we are looking to self-protect. But the angels are saying that in this case, in your life, that there is no need to defend what is never threatened in the first place. From the angel's perspective, we as human beings are eternally protected, provided for, and held in the highest of the energies of love that there possibly could ever be. And so there's no need to defend what is already impermeable and unshakable and indestructible, right? So it is safe for you to be vulnerable. It is safe for you to show your true self. It is safe for you to express your creative voice, to follow through on opportunities and ideas that you have by reminding yourself that this is your destiny. It is safe to do this. You don't have to worry about perfectionism. There's a little bit of perfectionism that we're seeing that comes through you sometimes. Just let that go. Let yourself, communicate or express or release something that's not necessarily perfect. Just to let it be authentic, and that's all it needs to be, and it will be perfect. And then you're going to see some really big, beautiful changes coming through in your life. I'm going to turn over a couple of cards for you as well, Erin. These are all three I felt guided to pull from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle cards. So let's see what these say. Right away. Okay, this is amazing. The Bard is the first card to show up. Now, the archetype of the Bard represents the musician, the poet, the artist, the storyteller, this kind of person who has this calling to share, to let the throat chakra ring out in some kind of way. Now, the card that is crossing the Bard that I laid right on top of it because I felt guided for some reason to do so, that I'm now turning over, is the Disruption card. So what is disrupting your voice? The angels are saying that there are a couple of things. They're saying fear of judgment, which, there is a little bit of childhood programming that we're seeing that came in from that, but also we're seeing that there is disruption or there's fear of judgment that comes from a past lifetime. We are very, very clearly seeing a past lifetime in which you experienced some persecution as a result of speaking your truth, of being your true self, and didn't feel as if you had a place. And in this lifetime, too, there may be some leftover feelings where sometimes you feel a little out of place, a little bit as if it's like, do I really belong? I feel different kind of thing. The answer is you do belong. And the more that you show yourself and let yourself be true and authentic and, intimate with the world or with those closest to you who wish to love you, the more you'll see, yes, this is my place. This is where I belong. Yes. Your final card is the Cow. The Cow card. And the cow is a symbol that represents nourishment and great abundance, being able to ask for what you want and then to receive it. So the Cow card, this symbol comes in because it's essentially telling you that success is assured, that there is love for you on the horizon. There is success for you on the horizon as you express your truth and as you unleash your creativity to the world. There is success that is assured. This success is assured. You will have it. So go ahead and share your light. The angels are saying this is going to make a very powerful difference. Let's go ahead and go to our next question. Let's see. We've got a question coming in from Paco. He says, it's been an intense spiritual journey for me. I've been able to identify, with some of your help, past life traumas and manage them as well as some ego issues. Wonderful. I'm so glad that you have experienced some growth in this, Paco. And it's amazing the way that the angels kind of direct me around to look at everybody's readings in a specific order, it seems, because we've got a perfect carryover from Erin's reading when we had that message about past life stuff, and then synchronicity, we've got Paco asking about past life stuff as well. So let's go ahead and I'll just turn over some cards for this and see what we get. So I'm seeing that there's a little extra bit that we've got coming in from Paco's question as well. They're just sending me, the Bring Me to Life team is just sending me a little bit more to his question. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards with the intention of looking at the past lives while I go, and we'll go ahead and read that. Okay, yes, he says he's still holding on to some sadness in his heart and mind as well. He says, I have to say, and sorry for that, I feel disappointed with my angels. Because in every direction I tried to move to let go of things that do not serve me anymore, it seems like everything aligns to be more attached to me. So he's saying essentially the troubles, the challenges seem to be more attached. He also says, I've been asking the angels to help me to move forward, but no result. I stopped connecting with them and just stopped trying to improve my life. I feel trapped with no control. Why is this happening? Okay, Paco. So I'm really glad that you mentioned these extra little thoughts here. And they want to give us some preliminary guidance before I even go ahead and turn over these cards. First of all, they want you to know that the angels never abandon you. They never leave you. Even if you lose faith for a moment, which is human, that's okay. Even if you have doubts in your mind or you start to lose touch, the angels never stop working with you. They never stop loving you and guiding you because they are judgment-free beings. They are ego-free beings who have only love, a state of love in their hearts for you constantly. So their support is forever with you. They want you to know first and foremost. The next thing that they want you to know is that the nature of life as human beings is that we experience, challenges and that sort of thing, things that perhaps, we all need to, heal and address. And that this is a journey. This is not a situation, from almost all human beings, wherein we snap our fingers and then all of a sudden we no longer have a challenge. And this is true for everybody. Doesn't matter if they are the most spiritually aligned people in the world, or if they are, the seemingly lowliest among us. All people face these challenges. You can be Jesus Christ and still have to face a crucifixion kind of thing. So it is not to be, something that you hold guilt for. The angels want you to know that, somehow did I spiritually miss a lesson or mess up a little bit, that I am, continuing to attract problems and that kind of thing. No. It's a journey that we are on. And it's one in which the angels are guiding you to be very deeply patient with yourself. Because in your situation, they want you to know that your healing is not something that is supposed to happen overnight. Because if it were to happen in the snap of our fingers, then you would bypass and miss out on all of the gifts that these lessons have to give you. Moreover, the nature of life on earth is such that we experience healing. We experience all changes and transitions of energy in time, with time. Meaning it takes time to see each issue rise out of our subconscious, out of our being. And we need time to address each one and to forgive each little piece of grief or difficulty that we've been holding on one at a time so that we can bring every little detail into the light. So the angels want to mention something about the shadow as well, for all of us listening, and especially for you as well, Paco. The shadow is a part of the human psyche that we call the shadow because sometimes it's the thing cast behind us, right? The thing that we don't want to look at, the thing that, it might have some unsavory aspects in it. It might hold our fears, hold our angers, hold our traumas, and thereby also hold the systems that have sometimes formed in our thought cycles around reacting to those traumas or those pieces of unforgiveness that we hold on to. So when we are addressing the shadow, the key to healing it is to bringing what is unconscious in this dark or troubled part of ourselves into consciousness, to bring what was hiding in the darkness where we couldn't see it in the subconscious mind into the light of our conscious mind where we can see it, where we can understand it and directly work on it, address it, that kind of thing. So what the angels want you to know is that you are being given a beautiful opportunity to retrieve pieces of yourself that had only seemed to scatter about and to be lost to challenges and struggles, to traumas and that kind of thing, to bring all of those back those pieces back into unity with your conscious mind, and to send them forgiveness and compassion and love. Essentially, the angels actually want to also just kind of give you a really kind of blanket statement that is going to basically describe what it is you're being guided to do in your life on this journey of healing that you're on. It's essentially to reparent yourself, Paco. It is to reparent yourself. They're showing us that your inner child appears to still be holding on to some traumas, some lessons that it learned in your past that created these imbalances, that created the potential to, to live out these kinds of imbalances, and sometimes to feel chronically unsupported, to feel as if love is not unconditional but conditional, and thereby to sometimes feel rejected, even to feel abandoned, to feel left behind. For most of us, we don't heal these things overnight. We do it with a process, because it is in that process that we find treasure that is valuable beyond imagining. It is in doing that that we develop our strength. The angels are giving us a little analogy. They're saying that, let's say, I had the dream of becoming a bodybuilder or something like that. I wouldn't pray, angels, make me a bodybuilder, and then I'd wake up the next morning with big bulging muscles and strong, and I'm able to run 10-mile marathons and that kind of thing. That's just not how it works on planet Earth. The angels would say, okay, I'm going to guide you to take an action step then. Let's go to the gym. And maybe I'd work out at the gym for 2 whole months and I wouldn't see very much progress, but I'd start to probably feel a little bit better. But then after a while, maybe after 3 months, I look at the mirror and there's a new muscle sitting there on my shoulder, or I can see some abs growing on my core and that kind of thing. It's because the work I put in. And that's the human experience that we all signed up for. We signed up to live our lives by having experiences and co-creating this path, not by asking anyone else to do it for us, including not asking the angels to do it for us. They follow, you see, the free will that you hold. So they come when they are called, and they play a role in our lives where they help in the way that is absolutely best for us. And they can see what is best for us, and they can honor and see the intentions that our soul holds most highly for us. So if the soul says, I want to learn, I want to get strong, I want to be self-sufficient, I want to be autonomous, the angels aren't going to take that away from you by, forcing you away from, the privilege of being able to take action and to go through a journey. Sure, it would be uncomfortable for me to go to the gym and have to run, 2 miles every day and sweat hard and put in the time and the energy and ache the next day when my muscles are sore and that kind of thing. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable to grow and to do work. But boy, is it good for us. And there comes a moment where we get past the discomfort and we reach, again, the golden, invaluable treasure of empowerment through this process. So the angels also want you to know that they're answering to something very specific in this as well. They just wanted to add that the things that you mentioned that felt as if they were attached to you more, like I tried to release something and now I feel more attached to it. They want to give you a very specific message about that. They're saying because, you've got a little bit more to address. There's still something that is unconscious that is related to that issue that you tried to release, but it seemed more attached to you. The reason why it's more attached to you now is because you brought it out of the wings. You brought it out of the surface, out to the surface. So it's as if it was hiding into the surface and you thought, okay, I know I need to forgive this. I know I need to heal this. So, okay, I forgive this. And we set the intention, but that's just the first step. That's just the beginning. Now we have to lay down the foundation work, the groundwork. And every time you see that particular issue arise again in your mind, in your behaviors, in the things that you see yourself attracting in the outer world around you, every time, that is life and your own soul giving you the opportunity to say, hey, you asked to heal this, so here you go. I'm showing it to you in the mirror so that you can look at every little piece of this, every little fragment of this issue, and bring each one to light and develop greater awareness of, not only was I holding on to this piece of forgiveness, but now I'm seeing all the nuances of how it affected me. I'm understanding how this really shaped my sense of identity. That stuff is important. So we're not going to be guided to bypass that work. You're being asked to confront that work and to do it. So let's turn over your cards and just see what the angels show us here. Okay. So the angels are showing us something very powerful. Your first card, not surprised to see this at all, is the action card. So again, that kind of goes right along with what they were just saying. Take action. This is a time to take action and get done what needs to be done. Do the work, do the healing work. So this means that you can take this work on your own. You can certainly practice journaling. You can practice meditation. You can practice positive self-talk. You can practice putting in, new healthy behaviors in your life, anything that feels like it really resonates with you, but also certainly working regularly with a therapist, with a healer, or connecting with even a trusted friend who you're able to, kind of use to air out some of the ideas that come to mind that as you bring shadow into light. That's all very helpful stuff. So continue to take action for these things. You're working on these things, and it's a wonderful process. Now, the card crossing the action card is the hostilities card. So this represents that what's influencing, or maybe sometimes even getting in the way of taking this action, is hostilities. Hostilities represents anger, feelings of anger, hurt, betrayal, these kinds of emotions. You know what? It's perfectly human to feel these things. We all feel them, no matter who we are. They are human, they are healthy, they are natural, they are normal. And just as we heard in one of our previous readings today, one of the great themes of the messages the angels want us all who are listening to hear today is that we must address our feelings. It is when those feelings get stuffed down, or when at some point, let's say in our past or in our childhood, those feelings got stuffed down, we kind of squelched their voice, we didn't allow them to echo out and to be validated, that they then work behind the scenes to control us, to push us this way or that way, and to make us feel blocked, make us feel prevented from being able to do what we want to do with our lives. So the angels are showing us that it is safe and healing and good to release and express in healthy and supported ways any anger that needs to be let go of. It's okay to admit to yourself, yes, I'm angry, and that's not pretty, but that's okay. Again, that's human and natural and normal. It's healthy to purge and release that. It's healthy to release that, because that's part of getting to the core of your being, wherein there is this part of you that's really ready to heal. We've got to peel off the layers of the onion first, and part of that is purging out these old emotions that are still right down under the surface for you, Paco. Final card is the Goddess of the Moon. Goddess of the Moon card represents the need to honor emotions again. The moon is oftentimes associated with the symbolic changing ebb and flow of emotions. And what this card represents, the angels are saying, is that your emotions are not the fact of your life. So just because you might feel angry to the extent that it's like, oh, I just want to kill it, I hate it so much, doesn't mean that you're actually a hateful person. Doesn't mean that you're actually a murderous, hateful person. No, it's just an emotion moving through you for a moment. Feelings are not the facts of your life. Feelings are passing movements of energy, just like the weather in the sky. Just because the clouds are up there in the sky doesn't mean that the sun ever stopped shining. There is still truth to be found. So move through these emotions. Practice even releasing attachment from them as you observe them moving through you. Know that all will be well as you continue to address this work. And whether you want to, call on the angels again, or whether you want to take a break from that, that's okay. It doesn't matter, because they still love you and they'll still work with you and guide you anyway. And one of the main things that the angels are working to guide you towards right now is towards the proper human support system that will help you through this healing chapter of life. Again, whether that be through a therapist, a friend, a healer, whomever it might be, you are being directed and guided towards this. So take action steps accordingly, my dear. And my prayers go with you, and the angels are always with you. Thank you, Paco. All right, let's go to another reading. Okay, beautiful. We've got a reading request from Avril. She says, hi, Sarah, blessings. I am in a lot of emotional pain after a difficult conversation with my boyfriend last night about his desire to explore with another woman. I desire a divine monogamous relationship. What to do when crushes, attractions come up? Neither he nor I wants him to just suppress what he's feeling. I've got big news for you, Avril. Your boyfriend has a lot that he really needs to figure out underneath the surface in this relationship in terms of what's going on for him emotionally right now. Because it's actually not so cut and dry and clear that it's just that he wants to go explore this other crush and that that's what he needs, and that it's a let's say emotional need that, he should be expressing in some kind of polyamorous, sort of way. Sure, polyamory is a lifestyle that works for some people. We don't need to get into analyzing that right now because it's not about that in this situation. It's about the fact that your boyfriend, according to the angels, is holding on to unhealed emotional issues, traumas, difficulties that actually put up direct blockages when it comes to intimacy for him, when it comes to upholding healthy, supported commitments for him. And that's what's driving him to be interested in crushes and attractions that are outside of this relationship. Why? Because when we look at relationships, potentials outside of our main relationship, we see the opportunity to be someone else. Because when you're with your close, beloved partner, you are with someone who sees you. If you're around someone long enough, if you get intimate enough with someone, they will see your shadow eventually. They will see the good, the bad, the vulnerable, the strong, the weak, the pretty, the ugly. They'll see all of it after a time. And the thing about relationships, especially right now in this intense eclipse energy that we're in, is that they hold up a mirror to you. Your soulmate, in seeing all that you are by becoming intimate with you, they will hold up a mirror to all those aspects of self and show them right back at you. And there's something in your boyfriend's shadow that he doesn't like looking at when he is in this monogamous, intimate, close relationship with you. Because there's some part of him that craves out of relationships to get validation. He craves emotional validation. There's still a part of him, unhealed, inner child part of him, that is begging to receive some kind of sense of, just tell me I'm good enough. Tell me I'm beautiful and I'm worthwhile and I matter. That kind of thing. Because there's part of him that doesn't have enough self-love, that he's doing that completely for himself. And he can have that self-love. He's just got to forgive himself or get rid of whatever little trauma it might have been in his past somewhere that made him feel as if he was unworthy of true love, that ever made him reject himself or experience rejection from the outside world, which damaged his relationship with himself. And thereby he needs to get into a new pattern in relationships where he's no longer going to be using relationships to help him cover up this broken piece of heart in him. He doesn't need to use these relationships anymore for his sense of validation, to provide him with a sense that he's good, that he's okay, that he can be validated, and that kind of thing. The reason why he's now, inching away from you and looking to get that validation from someone else is because someone else doesn't see all of his imperfections yet. And when you're in those first little phases of a new relationship, we've got all of these excitements, like a roller coaster ride of excitements rushing through us. It even changes our brain chemistry. We've got all these feel-good chemicals rushing through the brain. And a lot of people think that that's love, think that that's falling in love. And sure, I guess it's part of it. But is it real love, or is it just getting excited and feeling all those impulsive, interesting feelings? What your boyfriend really needs, he's not going to get out of having a bunch of random, relationships and with lots of different women, that kind of thing. What he really needs, and what he really at a soul level wants, the angels are telling me, is to feel safe and seen and to love himself again. Just as he did when he was very little, when he was very young, before whoever, helped break his heart, came into the picture at whatever time in his life that happened. That's what he really wants. He's not going to get that from sleeping around. He's not going to get that from seeing other people. He just isn't. Sure, polyamory might sound really, really interesting and fantastical on paper, but guess what? As human beings, there are so many things that just complicate that. We're not ready for that as a species quite yet in many ways, which is why pretty much every person who practices polyamory, even the ones that are doing it very successfully and healthfully and beautifully and honestly, will say that, oh yeah, you're still going to deal with a whole lot of extremely difficult stuff. And it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be what you think it is. And it is a lifestyle that will attract people that oftentimes have lots of compulsive relationship behaviors and sexual behaviors and poor boundaries and that kind of thing. So these are the things that he needs to be very realistic with and have two very open eyes on if he is to really consider this kind of a future for himself. And what you need to think is, hey, if this partner is someone who is, refusing to carry his own emotional baggage, is refusing to be honest with himself about what his real issues are, about what really is begging for deeper fulfillment emotionally. If he can't do that for himself, then is he eligible and ready and emotionally available to be a real equal partner to me? And, hopefully the answer is yes. Hopefully he'd be willing to do the work and to get really honest and real about his feelings and to actually fulfill those emotional needs. Because guess what? Our monogamous partner isn't necessarily supposed to be the one that fulfills all of our emotional needs. That's why we have families. That's why we have friendships. And that's why we also have ourselves. The core, most important relationship for all of us to have is our relationship with ourselves. And there is something missing in his relationship with himself right now. And that is why he feels so drawn to this impulsive, exciting idea of connecting with someone who will validate his ego and where he doesn't have to, look in the mirror and see any of the real shadow stuff about himself that he sees in his most intimate relationships, to where he can play a role and start to feel, I guess all excited like that, as we do in the beginning parts of relationships. But the thing is, if you stay in those relationships long enough, eventually you're going to see your shadow mirrored right back to you again. So the pattern that a lot of people enter into is that they then leave that relationship and they go try to find the next thrill. And then, 2 months, 2 years later, they see their shadow again, and they start to pick up and go. So it's not a healthy prospect to start looking at having an open relationship for the two of you yet at this time, because it's not coming from necessarily a healthy place. It's coming from a, kind of a desire or compulsive behavior that's saying, I want these things because they're literally helping me to cope with and to continue to stuff down and to react to my fears, my emotional, my unhealed or unforgiven emotional issues that are under the surface, my fear of not being loved, my fear of being abandoned. So that is what he needs. The angels are saying that he needs healing. And the angels are saying that, yes, you asked it, should I invest my heart and energy into this relationship? They're saying you can, but you're going to want to have another very honest, important conversation with your loved one. You two are going to really want to talk this out. And the thing is if he is in a position where he is absolutely unwilling to do this work, to heal himself, to begin to explore, hey, okay, why do I have this desire for a thing that is so potentially dramatic and endangering to the core primary relationship that I have? And yes, I want my needs to be fulfilled. Of course, he needs to be fulfilled. But, he doesn't want to go about fulfilling them the wrong way. In the same way that I guess the angels are giving us a little bit of an analogy. It's like if there was an alcoholic, do you agree to go out drinking with them? Is that going to solve the problem? Sure, maybe that night it's going to make that alcoholic feel just great. But is it good for them? Maybe not. And maybe there is some other form of healing or of a better path for the two of you to take. As far as the future of this relationship goes, is he the one? Are the two of you meant to be together? The angels are saying the proof is in the pudding. It's like you've got to do the work because that's what your soul signed up for in this relationship. This is a soulmate relationship, but it's not the only soulmate relationship of your life. Just as with most of us, we all have many soulmate connections and potentialities and that kind of thing. And the card that I turned over just to ask about that future, to give you a little direction, is a card called the Thinking Man. And when we see the thinking man, it represents the need to go towards intellect and reason and discovery in terms of these emotional issues, in terms of bringing out to air all of the desires and the needs and the feelings that you have, and bringing out to air all the desires, needs, and feelings that he has. And to talk about the stuff that, maybe needs to be healed. What can we do to heal it? And again, the big underscoring question is he willing to get honest with his feelings and to do the work? And if he is, proceed by all means. This relationship will probably have a lot of incredible benefits for you if he is ready to do the work, because you'll probably both grow immensely. And, you might find incredible strength and compatibility together in this way. But if he's not willing to do the work, that's his free will human choice. And guess what? Your soul will have other options to get at its purpose, to experience love in life. And that will be protected forever, the angels are saying. So thank you very much, Avril, for your reading request. Let's go ahead and we've got a caller on. So caller, you are now on the air. If you could just introduce yourself and let us know your question for the angels today.
Hi, Sarah. It's Amber.
Hi, Amber. Good to talk with you.
Good to talk with you again. I didn't get the first part of the reading, so I'm looking forward to listening to the replay, but I was guided to hop on and receive a reading. I guess it's not really one question. I'm going through a big relationship shift of having moved here and trying to get along with my fiance's family. And so it's not really one question. I'm just kind of looking for guidance.
Yes, let's go ahead and tune right into the energy of your relationship and the community around this relationship as well. The angels are showing us that there are a couple of different things that they kind of just want to bring to our attention with regard to your fiance's family. Have you been feeling, just any disharmony or discord, or just any energy that sometimes makes you feel even just a little pressured or something like that when you're around them?
Yes, that's actually been the issue. His mom has gone out of her way to just make things difficult.
Yeah, I get that. I can feel that totally. This is not in your imagination. You're not being over dramatic. This is definitely a real thing that's going on. So what the angels are showing us is that you're actually getting a really powerful opportunity to deepen your relationship through this experience and to get to know your fiance even more deeply. Because right now you're about to get really intimate in understanding the kinds of relationship patterns that your fiance grew up in, which is so important to know because it's informing so many of the behaviors that you will see coming out in your relationship together. So as we're just kind of reading the energy of, your future in-laws and, the dynamic of their family and that kind of thing, we're seeing that there are a lot of unmet needs, particularly in the mom. It looks as if she's had many, many years of being in, relationship patterns where her needs went unseen and unmet. And, sometimes it was because the other person would have been emotionally unavailable and that kind of thing. Other times it was because she was holding herself to standards that weren't authentic. Almost as if, those people that kind of like, well, my role is to be, the wife and the mother and that kind of thing. And I'm thinking of all these female gender role things that I should probably be adhering to. And so instead of being authentic with what you really feel, you just, you prioritize that stuff instead. Well, that's like living in a cage. That's like living with, the angels are showing me an image of her wearing like, tight clothing that's too small for her. Like you can't put your arms down because the sleeves are too tight, and then you feel just restricted and, kind of almost as if there's this illusion of lack that went on in the family. And this was spread, throughout the immediate family unit. A sense of we've got like a lack of love, a lack of support, and we're almost fighting over any little sense of empowerment that we can get, like bickering over little scraps of food when really there's an endless banquet buffet on the table above if they'd only look up and realize that love is infinite, and there's no shortage of it. There's no shortage of feeling empowered and feeling validated and that kind of thing. It's just that these are people that have been stuck in very limited emotional holding patterns for a very long time. So
I'm
go right ahead.
And I'm understand everything you're saying is actually right on. And I can see all of that. And I'm a light worker and I understand like that, but I guess my guidance is like with my boundaries. Like I know it's not in my head, but like I'm really trying not to go into my patterns of protecting myself from my own stuff. And I'm trying to be understanding, but also not be foolish enough to keep putting myself in a position that
Yes.
isn't going to get any better due to the heavy energetic circumstances that have been created over many, many years before I came into the picture.
Yes, bravo. I'm hearing your angels clapping because they're very proud of you. You have already done an incredible work on yourself, by the way. They're showing me that you've been good at kind of exploring your own feelings, being very honest with them, trying your best to uphold the values that you have. You've done work with boundaries in the past before and that kind of thing. You're trying, and that's a wonderful thing. And they do want you to continue in the spirit of all of that by keeping very high boundaries with regard to this family, reminding yourself that even though you are very highly empathic, I can see that. So you really care about how other people feel and you want people to be happy and comfortable around you and that kind of thing. And you would love it if you could play the role that people want you to play, that kind of thing. But of course, not to your own detriment. So the angels are saying to keep the boundaries very, very high with this family by ensuring that you're always checking in with your heart and saying no to any demands on your time or your energy or on even sharing in conversation and that kind of thing in a way that feels inappropriate to you. If there's anything that feels like it all makes you tense up, that you don't like where it's coming from, even if they're asking for a simple thing, but you can tell that it's coming from a power struggle place, say no to it every time, because you're not going to want to pick up and touch and be part of this controlling, negative kind of energy pattern. And also being just really upfront and on the surface about it with your fiance feels really good. It actually feels really healing for him to have your validation as a partner right there saying, oh my gosh, you're seeing all the things that I grew up with and you're even bringing fresher perspective to it. That's like really ringing home for me. It helps the two of you to kind of be really honest and communicative about all of what's going on. But otherwise, keep your boundaries high, even in terms of what you decide to talk about. If you notice that the energy is, getting really, kind of harsh sort of thing, because sometimes people will do that, like controlling people if they notice that you're not letting you control them, not letting them control you, that they'll push harder a little bit. But all that these people are going to learn is that every time they push harder or they start to get, downright outwardly inappropriate with their behavior, that you just step back and you end up creating more space. And if you ever have to get to the point where you have to speak up and say, hey, look, I've got too much respect for myself to remain in this conversation or in this situation, so I'm going to need to take a step back. And I will be here when you are ready to communicate with me in a more reasonable, respectful way. If you've got to be direct about it, you will be. It doesn't necessarily look like that's ready to erupt on the surface tomorrow or anything like that. It feels like a little bit of this is more subtle, at least for now. But, even with the subtle stuff, the angels are saying be very direct and strong with your boundaries. You don't have to share anything. They're not entitled to your energy, your time, your knowledge of what your feelings are or anything like that. You can just kind of very compassionately keep the boundaries high. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, it is subtle right now. I just had yesterday's eclipse brought some news my way that enlightened us to just fabrications and lies and just a power control and the boundary lines what we're trying to set. But since we're a blended family, I have my daughter here and then he has his daughters and they go visit their grandma. But the lies kind of entailed the girls too. It's kind of been in the whole family thing. So we're trying to we want to set a strong boundary being like, look, we don't want you thinking you can do this with the kids and the lies and games with whatever she's working with. I get that. But that's the thing is I don't want to play keep away with the kids, but I want not just boundaries myself. I'm very protective of them and I don't want them pulled in the middle of this dynamic she's going through.
And that's what the angels are saying is actually you're going to have to prioritize boundaries with her, especially where the kids are concerned, over the desire to play nice and to have, the perfect, little family, and where she gets to see them whenever she wants, kind of thing. Because if the behavior starts to get toxic enough, then yeah, you will have to play keep away with the kids. And the angels are being really kind of direct about that, and they're giving you permission. They're saying that that's okay. That's okay to do, because, again, she'll have to learn how to behave with respect, or else that's just how it's going to have to be. And there are certain areas where those lines, you're going to really want to make sure that they are drawn by, your fiance, by your husband, that he'll have to speak up and be the one on the front lines, really choosing to speak up these things, so that you don't have to be the one to be exposed to that when it's his mother and he's the one that's closer to her. So it feels like creating that united front together as a couple will be really, really helpful. Having him be the spokesperson of that wherever it is appropriate. And certainly if you need to speak up for your own and in certain aspects of it, depending on the situation, you'll do that too. But even where the kids are concerned, if someone's crossing lines in a big way, the angels are saying there's no need to expose these little ones, these sweet, innocent girls, to behavior that you don't want them to have to pick up on, to toxicity that you don't want them to have to pick up on. And she's going to have to adhere to that and to respect your wishes as a parent, or else, it's just going to have to be a bigger and bigger boundary. So see how she'll learn with that. Hopefully she does learn to be more respectful and that kind of thing, and that these power plays don't keep, kind of showing up. But if they do, protection is your number one goal, and boundaries and space are your number one goal, not people pleasing.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The people pleasing things, the work that you've been seeing that I've been working on personally, that's been my own journey. So I get it. I see in reflection of stuff that she does is, I have a big heart, and I can definitely see how people get in their way, but I'm learning new boundaries and protection too, without masking myself to fit what other people want. So I so appreciate everything you said. You were right on about everything. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Beautiful. You are so welcome, Amber. It was an honor to talk with you, connect with you again, and my love and prayers go with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, it was so wonderful to connect with all of you. I knew that we would have really powerful messages that would come through today, given the energy that we've got going on with all of this moon energy going on, the eclipse energy. If you want to learn anything more about what's going on with the cosmic energy right now and why there's so many intense issues coming up, relationship issues coming up, if that's coming up for you, by the way, you're not crazy. This is what we're kind of all going through right now. We're all unpacking a lot of really, important life stuff, and it's helping us. It's a big opportunity. If you want to learn more, go to my YouTube channel, and I've got my full moon reading, which is on the full moon that we just had yesterday, but there's also the new moon reading, which you'll see some of the same themes that showed up, and that was for our previous new moon earlier in the month. So you can check those out if you'd like to. And we are at the end of our time, but you will have another chance to receive your reading tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on bringmetolife.com/radio for Through the Eyes of the Angels, where I will be discussing the spiritual giftedness of empaths. And I know that so many of you who are listening are empaths, and the angels have been giving me so many powerful channeled messages about empaths, their purpose, and how empaths, deserve healing and empowerment right now, so that we can help lead the way in the world, that we can bring more light to the world. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. Do keep in touch with me on social media if you would like daily tips and support and little angel card readings. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so forth. And you can also visit my website at sarahhall.com if you would like your own private angel reading or healing session, or if you'd like to take one of my online courses. Definitely continue to follow and keep in touch with the Bring Me to Life tribe, and know, as always, that you are so very loved and so very blessed. Bye, everybody.